Okay, this was an implant abutment case that was sent to me for troubleshooting, and the dentist was wondering about this blue that was showing through the top of his reduced abutment here. Now, what that blue is, it's the tie base showing through kind of the minimum thickness of the tie base, and he was wondering if it would fail because of this. And it not necessarily. This is just a guidance. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the milling. It's just a guidance to the manufacturer's minimum or recommended thickness. So what we can do here, let's go ahead and back up to the full contour design. Okay, we have the full contour design here. Now, from the base of the fixture to the top of the tie base is 4.5 millimeters. So what you need at least 5 millimeters from the base of the fixture to the top of your occlusion to make this process work. If it's less than 5 millimeters, you cannot use the InLab for Abutment software. So one of the things that we can do, let's go to Windows, Display Options. Let's turn off our restoration so you can see the minimum thickness of the tie base. Let's go ahead, turn the antagonist on, and what we can do is we can use our distance tool to measure from the top of the occlusion all the way down to the base of the fixture. So we're at 6.179 millimeters, roughly, right around 6 millimeters. So we do have enough clearance to make this process work. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the restoration back on. And the first thing that I'm going to do is we have our proposal, which is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and back up to the insertion axis step. Okay, so let's take a look at the parameters here. So we have the gingival depth, shoulder size, telescope angle. I like the gingival placement pressure at 0.5 here in this case. Let's change the shoulder size down to about 0.5 millimeters. That should be plenty. And hit OK, and let's get our new proposal. Okay, so here's our proposal. You can see a little of the blue shining through already. Let's go ahead and look from the buccal view. That proposal looks pretty good. You could tweak it a little bit for the contacts. We can check our occlusion. The occlusion looks pretty good, so we've got that all set. And let's go ahead and hit the green arrow. Okay, when you hit the green arrow the first time, our reduction is now coming up. Okay, now if you look at the lower right hand corner, you have the margin 0.5, that's just the minimal thickness, you cannot alter that. Now reduction is 0.5. Now one confusing thing is this number right here does not have anything to do with the actual shoulder size. The only way you can set the shoulder size is specifically by the parameters which we showed you before. The reduction of 0.5 means how it has to do with the height of the abutment. So for example, let's increase the abutment stronger reduction to a millimeter. That means it's going to reduce the full contour crown 1 millimeter. So we'll hit reduction to light it up in orange. Then we'll hit it again. And it basically reduced the abutment 1 millimeter from the full contour height-wise, which is probably a little bit much in this case. So let's go ahead and back up. And now let's reduce the height of the abutment a little bit less. Let's bring it back down to 0.5, which means it's only going to reduce at 0.5. So let's hit the reduction. Hit it again. And you can see by changing that to 0.5, it gave us a taller abutment, which is probably good in this case. Now we still have that blue shining through, which I'll show you is okay, and I'll show you how to check it. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit the green arrow to the mill preview. Okay, so we're in the mill preview here. We've got our abutment. Now the two things that you need to check here, we obviously have the blue, which concerns us. So let's go to Windows, Display Options, and let's turn off the minimal thickness. Now when you turn off the minimal thickness, as long as you do not have any black, that means you don't have a hole. So even though you're not to the manufacturer's recommended thickness, you still can mill this and it will be okay. If you see black, that means you're in trouble. In this case, we don't see any black, so we're okay. Now the second thing we want to check is we want to go to the block visualization. Hit OK. And that's going to bring our block up. and we want to check the undersurface to make sure there's no red along here. If there's red along there, that means it's going to chip. This looks good. So at this point we can go ahead and make our abutment crown by design abutment crown and go ahead and mill out our two pieces. So hopefully this helps a little understand how to change the height of the abutment and also the minimal thickness. You can get by it as long as you don't have any black. So this case will work fine, it'll mill fine, and this person will be all set. Hope that helps.